I just spent the last 2 weeks putting the best 2 lawnmowers I could get my hands on through a set of grueling challenges to finally figure out which is better, gas or electric. Let's get into it. Real quick, in the comment section, which one do you think is gonna win? I have my theory, but I polled my subscribers about a week ago and it was 50-50, basically 51-49 split. Ridiculous. Let me know in the comment section, which one do you think is gonna come out on top? Might pick my favorite answer for a cool prize. All right guys, you know what time it is. Infamous mower mile time, baby. I just walk and I walk and I walk until either the battery dies or the gas runs out, so this should be fun. Cold, toasty today, and I drink a lot of coffee, so you know what that means. First mower up, Ego. 56 volt aluminum deck. It's gonna be a little bit heavier than the plastic deck, I believe, but it's got a 10 amp hour battery, which is one of their biggest ones. I envision this will last probably 80 to 90 minutes. Also, a side note with the Ego, I am not going to run the turbo button on it, but I am running it on the second level. I feel like it would be a very rare situation when I were to run it on the slowest. And also, I try not to, if I don't have to, use the turbo button. So I'm trying to simulate normal cutting conditions. And guys, let's be on the lookout. I'm looking for somebody who's mowing their lawn themselves with an old mower. Into this video, I'm gonna give this one away. Don't need it. I'm so weird. Whatever.
For different things on Saturday
Hey.
morning. And if we do schedule something.
Lady just came out and told me to stop taking pictures of her yard. I said, oh, I'm a crazy person with a YouTube channel. Turn my mower off just to kind of stop my timer, just to kind of get away from her as ASAP as possible. 15 minutes and my first battery light just went down. Look at this. Okay, this is the difference between fertilizing and not. I really like electric mowers and tools in general because I can see how much time I got left. Can I kind of pace out my my mow or my walk, whatever you're doing with your lawnmower. Big hill, no match for the Ego. Ooh, no way. Look at Shouty. Briggs and Stratton. I think I'll pass on that one though. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. So an hour and 15 minutes in, we're down to our last light. Just turn back for home. Blinking red. Red alert. All right guys, it is an hour and a half in. Battery just died. And I stopped to these fine folks and asked them if they wanted a free electric lawnmower. Brand new. They all said no, no thank you. All right. All right, Toro's turn. All right, right off the bat, considerably louder and less enjoyable than the Ego. 15 minutes in, no idea how much gasoline's left. Got a family back here tailing me though. I have to pick up the pace. Leland Cypress. More like Leno Cypress. Oh God. True green, more like true give me all your green money. Do it yourself. They're not putting anything down that you could not do yourself. Wait, just eclipsed the hour mark. You guys are not gonna believe this, but I'm on the mower mile and check out who I just bumped into. That's Jude and his grandma. Hey, buddy. All right, we're almost an hour and a half down, so we're almost about to eclipse what the Ego was able to do. Starting to run a little funny, maybe like it's pulsating or something every now and then. I actually haven't looked in the gas tank for a second, so maybe I should do that. Oh, it's dry as a bone. Hour and 34. Well, maybe there's someone still in the lines or something. I don't know. I'll keep running it till it don't run no more. Hour and 42 minutes. Amazing. So it'll appear that the Ego was about 12 minutes less of runtime than the gas Toro. Not a stark difference. I bet 2 years ago it would have been way, way different. Guys, this is one of my favorite challenges called the Bog Down Showdown. Basically, I've got this big field right here of overgrown, thick grass. All these brands like to talk about RPMs, horsepower, torque, foot-pound torque, does it matter? I've got fully charged batteries, a full tank, and they're both set to 2.5 inches and freshly sharpened blades. Let's see which one bogs down first. All right, guys, so first off was the Toro Super Recycler. Obviously made light work of the Bog Down Showdown first round, powered through it without any trouble at all. We moved on over to the Ego Select Cut. That one really had no problem either at 2.5 inches. Both of these powered straight through it. Then I went ahead and moved it down to 2 inches. No problem there. Toro powered through again. A lot of power in both these mowers. And then I moved on over to the Ego, also at 2 inches. Light work, much of the same. Then moved down to 1.5 inches. Now we're getting low. Used the Toro on this one first. And as you can see, it didn't quite make it all the way home. About a down and back path. Then I moved over to 1.5 inches on the Ego and it struggled. But without the turbo button and that level 2 speed, I just got probably about 10 or 15 feet. It is what it is, I guess. Guys, it looks like the Toro actually handled it a little bit better than the Ego. Super impressed. I don't know, it's not a perfect test because the conditions weren't the exact same on both sides, but it was dang near as best as I could do. And now we're on to the cut check. This is one of my favorite tests that we've done. I know I've said this a bunch, but I like these tests. But this is a great test to see how well each mower, the Toro and Ego, are able to lift those grass blades, get them standing up real good and cut. So that's gonna be testing the RPMs, you know, the torque, all of that. This should be a good neutralizer between these two tools. I've spray painted the grass. I threw a whole bunch of nitrogen on it maybe about a week ago and got it real tall. And so I feel like it's a really good test to see which one of these mowers actually cuts the best, because that's really ultimately what we're here to find out. So first up was the Toro Super Recycler. Ran it through the Backstreet Boys backyard haircut, you know, the frosted tips. Was really impressed with it. I really like the Toro. It's gas, it feels like home, it feels powerful. But I will say, I let both these sit for about 5 minutes or so, and the wind's helping me out a little bit. Hopefully you can see, but there are quite a few missed grass blades. You can see a little homie right here. I mean, you know, we're nitpicking, but this is a test, you know, to see. There, you know, you see quite a few places where you feel like it could have lifted it up and it could have cut it a little bit better than that. Quite a few places along here that I feel like were missed by this mower. Again, that's why I like to spray paint them white, is because you can really see it, especially on a windy day. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure, missed grass blade. What do you want me to do? That's just is what it is. You know, you're not gonna get a perfect cut every single time, I realize that, but when you're comparing them head to head like this, numbers don't lie. And then we moved on to the Ego Select Cut. I did not run this on turbo. Last time I did this, people lost their ever-loving minds when I pressed the turbo button. Even though the Ego does have that sick 11.1 foot-pounds of torque that really are the major selling point, to remain continuity throughout the test, I didn't press it, but this is what it did, even without that turbo button on. I hope you can see. I mean, very, very few missed grass blades. Here's a couple. I hope you can see that. Yeah, there's some. But across the board, I mean, I'll let you get down there. Eye level. That's pretty dang consistent, in my opinion. I'm gonna have to give the nod to Ego, but even knowing I didn't use the turbo button, very, 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 very impressed with that Ego. Don't have any skin in the game. Just think it's kind of sick. It's got a little bit of an annoying high-pitched squeal to it, but other than that. Next up is user experience. How does it feel when you're using each one of these mowers? Well, I'm gonna strap you to my forehead and walk and mow and let you know exactly how it feels. Honestly, user experience is a very important category because this is where you spend most of your time out in your lawn. All right, guys, when looking at ease of use of both these mowers, they're both pretty similar. Obviously, you start the gas one by pulling the cord to get the motor going. In terms of like using it out on the field or out on the grass, it feels very similar to most of your standard gas powered mowers. I will say the one knock that I have on this in terms of ease of use, felt like the overall like joints in the thing were kind of like all over the place. I felt like I was bouncing a bit, and I could really see that in some of the mole like hills that I have in my lawn where, you know, you can see the divots right here. It just felt like it bounced and kind of like rattled a little bit more. And then it also, with that cruise control, or, you know, the self-propel function, it's got that telescopic thing, so it's supposed to respond when you push it like this. You know, it responds and pushes out a little bit more power, but I found that to be really annoying, honestly, because I just felt like I was going, you know, all the way down. Really, I did not like that feature. I know that some gases are different, but I have used a ton of gas-powered mowers. That's probably the case with a lot of them. I know Honda has the thumb that just drove me nuts. And then also there's another Honda that also telescopes. So I feel like that's pretty ubiquitous among that category. But then next up was the Ego Select Cut, obviously. It feels very, very well made. It's got that aluminum deck. It's got serious weight. I would say that it's actually feels a little bit heavier than the Toro Super Recycler, but in kind of like a good way, in my opinion. It's got big, bulky tires on it that feel like it's really in control of its movements, and you're kind of just along for the ride. All you have to do is press the button on the handle and it goes, and you can adjust the cruise control setting with that little knob up at the top, and then you're kind of just walking and you're along for the ride. Whereas the Toro felt like you were kind of driving, or you were like, you know, in the captain's seat. This one felt like, you know, like a self-driving car where you just got to keep your hands on the steering wheel, because the little button right there, once you start pressing that, you know, it's going. And then you got those goofy headlights if you want to mow at night, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning if you want to. It's got a headlight. So overall, in the ease of use category, I gotta say, all you gotta do is put a battery in, press the button and let it rip. The electric is easier to use, truthfully.
Okay, cool. With all the performance information answered, how does this impact your wallet? Well, it's time to look at the cost comparison. So operating off a couple assumptions: 1, you plan to keep both the Toro and Ego for 5 years. More about that later. 2, you don't do anything yourself. You take it somewhere to get the work done. Well, as of today, the Toro is gonna run you about $799, while the Ego has a more hefty price tag of $1,199. Side note, if you buy right now, it comes with a 5 amp hour battery, but you know, I'm just saying. Anyway, to maintain the Toro gas-powered mower, it's recommended that you change the oil, spark plugs, and air filter once a year. So service fees plus parts over 5 years is going to run you approximately $550, while the Ego will only require a blade sharpening annually, plus maybe an underbelly cleaning, $200 over 5 years. And to power the Toro, I'm assuming a once weekly mow. And the standard consumption for a half acre, which is the standard lot size in America, you're gonna mow that once, you're gonna consume about 1 gallon a week. So with today's gas prices, that's gonna run you about $442 over 5 years. While to charge one Ego battery, it takes 1 kilowatt, which over about 5 years is $16. And retouching on that 5-year thing, I'm leaving out the repair cost for both these mowers because they both have a 5-year complete warranty. So if anything breaks, and yes, I mean including the battery, it's covered. So I'm not considering that in this calculation. So the grand total for the Toro over 5 years is going to run you $1,791, while the Ego is going to run you $1,415. So about a $380 difference, which coincidentally is actually about the same price as a 7.5 amp hour Ego battery. So you could have batteries galore. So yeah, with a total cost comparison, I'm gonna have to go with Ego on this one.
All right, guys, because I did not use the turbo button in the Bog Down Showdown, I thought I'd come back and see exactly what would have happened had I actually pressed the turbo button. So let's check it out. Little bit longer, and it actually beat the Toro with the turbo button on. But you know, I'm torn. Y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you think about that? Should I be using the turbo button, like all the features of the mower itself? Or should I try and make it as level as possible between the two so we're comparing apples to apples? Or is apples to apples just the best that the Ego has compared to the best that the Toro has, which doesn't have a turbo button? So, but I would really like y'all's feedback on that. Let me know. All right, here he is. I've been waiting on this dude. You go, boss man. It's brand new Toro.
Oh, heck yeah.
So whenever you want to come scoop it.
I'll come by and pick
Okay.
it up. I'll be in a burgundy Silverado with a black topper on.
Perfect.
So.
Yeah. You come today or tomorrow or whenever?
I have to talk with my wife, but
Yeah.
it might be after work. It might be tomorrow. So
Okay,
we'll see.
no
I'll
problem.
let you know.
Yeah. I'll if I'm not here, I'll probably be here. But if I'm not, I'll just put it behind my what's it called?
That's me. You just shoot me your number, and that way I can.
Perfect.
reach out
Sounds
to you.
good, man. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Of course. See ya. Guys, thanks so much for checking out this week's video. I compared the top 5 electric lawnmowers here and then the top like 7 weed eaters here. Also a gas versus electric comparison in that one as well. Until next time, keep cutting.